Onc Live Insights is a video editorial program produced by Onc Live.
There are clinical complications and prognostic significance that is associated with chronic iron overload. In terms of complications, we have learned a lot from patients with thalassemia and sickle cell anemia who have been chronically transfused for many, many years. And they don't die of their disease, but they die of consequences of iron overload, which is related to hepatic failure, deposits of iron in vital organs like the pituitary, the heart, the pituitary, and so on. In terms of myelodysplastic syndromes, we have to remember that 2/3 of MDS patients at diagnosis are going to have lower risk disease, and 1/3 of them will have higher risk disease. The patients who have higher risk disease, their problem is that they have a clone of cells that is not maturing, that is remaining immature as blasts. And this poses a threat to their survival because once it starts to expand and reaches 20% blast count, then this is no longer myelodysplastic syndrome. It has moved beyond higher risk MDS to become acute myeloid leukemia, and that is unfortunately a universally fatal illness. So in higher risk MDS, the threat to the patient's survival is really the progression towards acute leukemia. That is 1/3 of MDS patients. Now 2/3 of MDS patients have lower risk disease. And for them, survival is not an immediate threat because only 10 to 15% of these patients will ever transform and progress to acute leukemia, which then is a fatal illness. For these 2/3 of MDS patients, the problem is not a threat to survival, but quality of life is decompensated. And that is because they are getting chronically transfused. And that poses physical, emotional, psychological, financial burdens of all sorts on our patients. And remember that MDS patients is an elderly population. So here you have a group of elderly patients who have anemia, and 1/3 of them are going to get transfusions. And these transfusions can seriously compromise the quality of their lives. So we start having to not just support them with the blood transfusions, but also provide all kinds of emotional and psychological support for these patients. Now, with repeated transfusions, this leads to chronic iron overload, and most of these patients with lower risk MDS who are being transfused are not going to die of their MDS, but they're going to die of the consequences of treatment, which is leading to iron overload. And that iron deposit can lead eventually to worsening cytopenias, to organ failure, and eventually to death from bleeding or infection. So the point I'm trying to make here is that iron chelation therapy is recommended at the moment by NCCN guidelines or the MDS Foundation, etc., for lower risk MDS patients who are chronically transfused, but not for higher risk MDS. But you know, I get regularly called by my colleagues in the community who will call me and say, Dr. Raza, I have a higher risk MDS patient that has been getting blood now for 2.5 years. Should I start chelation? But then it's not recommended for higher risk MDS patients. So then I'll ask them that if your patient is alive for 4 years already and 2.5 of those you're giving them transfusion, how is this a higher risk MDS? Really, the patient's disease is, the natural history is behaving like that of lower risk MDS. And what this underscores is the inaccurate classification systems that we are using. So the IPSS scoring system we use is a very good system which is available, but unfortunately it's not accurate in every case. it accurately classifies patients in this risk category probably only 50% of the time. And realizing that a revised IPSS scoring system has been introduced, but even that is too recent for us to know how much more accurate that is going to be. The point here is that instead of depending on inherently inaccurate classification systems, potentially inherently inaccurate classification systems, we should rely more on our clinical judgment based upon the natural history of the disease we are observing in individual patients. So if a case is being called as high risk MDS, but we see that the patient is really pretty stable and just continue to get transfusions, then by all means institute chelation therapy for that patient.